Whoa, what have we just witnessed? Almost a similar heist that the Punjab team pulled off in the previous game. You thought from that unbelievable situation it was going to be once again the duo of Shashank Singh and Ashutosh Sharma who would do the unthinkable. They came close. How close? 2 runs. 2 runs is the victory margin in a game, might I add, since the second inning started, because when the first inning got over, if you were 50-50, pretty much the entire cricketing world would have been 50-50. Some would have thought SRH have got enough, some would have thought Punjab have gotten enough, but either parties wouldn't have been 100% sure of where the game is going to go. But after that, once the second innings began, from over number 1 or from ball number 1 till 19th over, or should I even say 19.2 overs, Sunrisers Hyderabad were the clear favourites to win. So imagine a race, it's being run and one horse is leading the other by a huge margin and it's almost certain it's going to win until the time they reach the finish line, and suddenly the horse that was so far behind just comes neck and neck, and from there on, dare I say, it even reached a situation where 15 needed of 3. I wouldn't have blamed you if you thought Punjab had it from there. Only for Punjab to lose this game by just 2 runs. Try and put into words all the best what you just witnessed.
What I was thinking was that penultimate ball dropped catch. They ran 1 run. If they had run 2, we'd have been watching a super over right now. That's how close things were. That's how close this game was. And my God, I think full credit, by the way, has to go to the lower order once again. Shashank Singh, Jitesh, even all those 19 runs doesn't seem like a lot, but came at a good clip. And of course, Ashutosh Sharma thereafter, because the top order of Punjab Kings, I think they were doing their best to just lose the match. It just felt like that. Pedestrian, terrible batting. There is no better way of putting it. It's like a game. We say that, sometimes football matches, it's like a game of 2 halves. Their batting was a batting lineup of 2 halves. Look at those numbers. That's terrible. Their best strike rate was Sam Curran at 131 on a track that had runs on it and which should have been easier to pace your innings with, given you knew what you were chasing. Then the young guns come out there and show no. Go swinging.
It almost felt like, a repetition of the previous match. Yeah. This felt like, PBKS versus GT all over again. And until, those last couple of balls, it did turn out to be that script only. Look at it, it's the same 2 protagonists in the middle with the same strike rates, same hitting, getting the match out of nowhere. It seemed like it was just the GT team turning up in a different colored jersey today. But then, of course, that crucial, that's why they say the games that of fine margins, because had they run 2 over there, which ideally should have been the thing. That was silly. That's the mentality. I think, any player representing the Chennai Super Kings, Mumbai Indians, again, they know the value of every run. They definitely, because these things are ingrained oftentimes. And these are cardinal errors. Not running a 2 when there was a second on offer, which that catch being dropped by Rahul Tripathi in the deep. We really were looking at a super over.
No, could have been some franchises know how to do it, some don't. And there are some who ran 2 when you were not supposed to run 2. You were supposed to run 1, which was yesterday, where Lalit Yadav had no business. A day before, had no business running 2, maybe 1. See, again, I go back to that game.
Smarts.
But see, where, 30, 32, I know it was 29 today, but they needed 34, 35, something like that.
Yeah. 32 if I'm not mistaken.
32. And Tristan Stubbs in the form that he was, Lalit Yadav runs 2 the first ball. God damn, run 1, give him the chance, you never know. Similarly, here you needed to run 2, and I know this didn't happen in the first ball, but I agree. And by the way, they had, if the fielding was awesome and you were running a risk of getting run out and you didn't run, was another matter. But in this case, firstly Rahul Tripathi drops it, then as he is confused most of the times he was here, where he's busy apologizing first
instead of going and running and throwing the ball back.
And he did release it, but apologizing for, he's more worried about where the ball is gone. So there was enough time for you to have run 2. I think that disappointment at that time was, and I think it was Ashutosh who hit that particular shot.
Yes,
Yeah.
It was
because he
Ashutosh.
hit the
I
six
think the
before that.
disappointment was that, or sometime you had in mind, oh, I needed a 6 and I missed it. Without realizing, boss, game is on. Game is on. If I run 2, game would have been on. Without, you thinking at that time. In their mind, they thought in that situation, you needed 2 boundaries.
Yeah.
You were thinking like that. And because this is not a boundary, how does it matter if I take 2 or 1? That's where smartness comes.
Boundary or bust sort of a situation that they built for themselves.
See, I'll not blame franchises here too much. You have to remember, these are 2 players who barely have ever gotten a chance in the IPL. First time you're here, it's a margin, as we say, the margins are very fine. And oftentimes, even the most experienced players will sometimes make this error. So these are 2 guys properly getting a chance for the first time. I can understand. They would have in their mind been thinking, done. Caught means khatam match, then it doesn't really matter. Then that drop, I mean, if this was another franchise with experienced players, then they'd be like, no, scramble, do whatever, hop for all you care, but get for that second run. Didn't quite happen with them, and that's it. 2 runs is the difference. You could have been sitting in a super over right now. The first super over of the IPL since 2021.
But Punjab are really turning out to be the entertainers of this year, yeah.
Oh, Punjab are always an entertaining side. They're just not a winning side. That's part of the problem.
I remember when I made the prediction 182 or 183, I wasn't sure. He said 1 run, how does it make a difference? Could have been the difference.
Makes a big difference.
It would have been a super over today.
Yeah.
Right? A 1 run does make that difference. By the way, I just want to know, I mean, taking no credit away from the 2 youngsters from Punjab, outstanding. And I think Shane does make a point about Jitesh also chipping in with those 19 at 172, which
But
kind
that
of helped.
dismissal wasn't on.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. But before that, I want to talk about the last over, which is the exciting bit. We've spoken about what is it that Punjab could have done differently. They came very close, not taking anything away. But did you, at the time where 29 were needed, 9 times out of 10, you're giving the bowling team a chance. But with Jaydev Unadkat holding the ball, with his body language, with all of that, how many of you were thinking, no, there's a chance?
I was.
Yeah.
I was thinking 100%. I'm like 2 loose balls and this game is open. And
Is it because of who the bowler was?
Yes.
Of course. It matters. If this was say, even a Pat Cummins, even if Cummins had the 20th, no, look, Cummins does tend to go for runs, but the difference with him is mentality is elite.
Yeah.
Also, sometimes that street smartness will work. He would have given away 25 runs. You're not giving away 9 runs, or you're giving away 20 runs, but he would have been that calculative. With Jaydev, 1, 2 lusty blows and shoulders droop. And that's what happened. 1-6, 2 wides, second 6. At that point, as a bowler, you're thinking, damn, I've just conceded 14 runs of 2 balls. It's not ideal. It's not ideal.
The other thing I'd add, which is what makes him look at times mediocre, let's say, as a bowler, even by IPL standards. No disrespect to his longevity and how he ends up finding, which I'm sure there is something to him, which is why he ends up finding a franchise every day. But in such situations, you're backing the batter more so when you see a Jaydev Unadkat, especially bowling the last over, because by then I've seen whatever I had to see in those 3 overs. I know the guy doesn't have express pace. It's going to be again in those middling 130s or even an early 130s. And once I know I get 1 hit right, he's resorting to a slower one because he's one dimensional that way. There isn't much to add. He doesn't have a back of the arm or anything like that. He will not stun me with his pace. So I know what to expect of him once I get that 1 hit right, because he's going to go into his shell. That's why I was backing the Punjab Kings batters over there to go past the finish line. Jaydev Unadkat, though, saving those 2 runs and doing just about enough.
But it doesn't say, I mean, you're saying that there has to be something in him that he fans a franchise. I kind of not agree with it, because if you're an Indian fast bowler who's played any decent amount of cricket, you get a franchise. I mean, that is just the case of demand and supply. I'm sorry, but as we've discussed, 25 crore to a fast bowler, an overseas fast bowler, is just not done compared to a lot of other match winners that you have. It could be a spinner, or it could be a batter, genuine batter, wicket keeper batter, opening batter, all-rounders. They don't get. It's not that they are not more valuable to the team. It's just that you need to fill in those slots for fast bowlers, and fast bowlers come at a premium. And because some of those foreign fast bowlers are so much better, so they get 25. And if you're an Indian fast bowler, you'll get a slot. I mean, how many places will still carry on in terms of, fast bowling if there were so many? No disrespect again to Sandeep Sharma, he's a very good bowler. But I'm just saying that there is nobody pushing him, right? He's played for so many years. He can be safe and still be there. Shivam Mavi, even though hasn't set the stage on fire, he's injured is another matter. But he was fit, will still keep getting franchises.
Kamlesh Nagarkoti, same case.
Will continue playing as long as they're not injured, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. So these bowlers, I'm saying how many places could Mohit Sharma have come back? He's been outstanding, not taking that away. But they wouldn't have got another chance to even come back. It's just that because there weren't any fast bowlers available, Indian fast bowlers even more so, because you only have slots for 4 foreigners, 2 is taken by batters, you'll fill 1 with a spinner, maybe 1 with a fast bowler or whatever, something like that. So you'll have to fill it with Indian fast bowlers. So even a Mohit Sharma got a chance. That's another thing that he evolved. He became so much better and now would probably make most teams. But that chance would have not come. So which is why I think Jaydev Unadkat on that sense is not so much backed on the talent, but I think so much based on demand and supply that he keeps getting a chance and gets a chance to play. Having said that, I agree that his contribution is in red ball cricket. I agree that he's a legend there. He's the workhorse, year after year does his job there. But then a lot of good batters. Again, I give an example of Sarfaraz Khan. He's been your best domestic batter last 3-4 seasons.
3-4 seasons.
Doesn't get a chance in the IPL. That's fair. I mean, they look at who's good at that time, who's suited for that format, all of that. Agreed. Fair enough. Similarly, for bowlers also that should have been the case. But because, as I said, there are fewer because batters there are so many that you can afford to overlook a Sarfaraz and still be fine with it because there are so many young guys. But as a fast bowler, I don't think there'll ever be an issue. And that's exactly why Jaydev Unadkat gets a chance. But I agree with you on that body language front. That, when he got the ball, it was still okay. But after a couple of sixes, see, you can make out. There were situations where you could, letting out that breath with relief. Like, thank God, this could have gone for a 6 somehow. In fact, that shot that you're talking about where he drops him, the sound of that ball hitting that bat, I told myself that's a 6.
Yeah?
That's a 6. Somehow it did not connect that well and reaches Tripathi's hands. It sounded like a 6. So imagine with a Jaydev there, when he hears the sound, gone. And then, it just scoops up. So, I agree that body line, if I'm a batter, I'm like, this bowler is under pressure.
And see, that's the thing. I think what a lot of teams, many teams now have smartened up and that's why they prefer going young. That's why one benefit of the IPL it's done is that you have now the fast bowling talent is more. Okay, not every single one of them is going to make the cut at international level, and that's fine. The point is you at least have a better pool to choose from. Why? It's because certain franchises are actually going the route of giving the younger players that chance. They say rather than bring in someone like Unadkat, who and again I'm going to use an American sport term here, is a signing you make purely to fill out your roster. That's it. He's never in anyone's wildest dreams going to be a sure shot starter in any franchise. That ceased being the case in 2016-17 when RR bought him for big money, then released him the next year and bought him back for less money. He's never been that bowler in the IPL now for a long time. He's a roster filler. Like if in a worst case scenario you reach that point, that's why a lot of teams now go younger. I mean, look at an LSG who've been their 2 most impressive pace bowlers this year. Got a Yash Thakur who was picked up at base price, and of course a Mayank Yadav who was picked up at base price, a KKR, Vaibhav Arora and Harshit Rana, 2 pacers again picked up at base price, outperforming the 25 crore man. That's the thing. You'd rather have those guys because again the ROI is better. They're not taking up any amount on your wage bill. They're on base price of 20 lakhs, and you're getting such good results out of them. So you'd rather go that route, and yes, of course, there are risks with the youngster thing as well. But would I not rather see a youngster get hit and then have his character built up, as opposed to a Jaydev, who I know what I get. He's a proven commodity, can sometimes, really restrict the flow of runs. But when he gets hit,
that's what I'm trying to think.
There's one thing though, I think
excuse me,
we just got a little carried away over there with all the action that we were seeing. So it was 10 off 2. So even had they taken 2 over there, it still would have been 8. We just got the math wrong. So it wouldn't have been a super over even then.
Yeah.
So but again, 1 run here and there was the idea.
No, my point is, sorry, coming back to Jaydev Unadkat, is that if, again, I'm not saying it in hindsight, honestly. If I am Sunrisers Hyderabad, I don't know, for whatever reason, I'm playing Umran Malik.
Huh?
I don't know. I know he can be expensive, but he'd also be the guy in this situation, probably would have bowled 2 Yorkers and said, off, both.
And the point
Both your batters were troubling me.
the point
Shashank, Ashutosh, gone.
See, the thing with a younger player is, you'll take them making mistakes. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's part of a learning experience. Someone like an AajTak took 2-3 seasons to really toughen up to the IPL standard, but that, those reps did him good. Because by the time he really was ready, you had a bowler who was not only ready for IPL but even international level. Would you recall a Jaydev Unadkat to the international team at any point in time for white ball cricket? No. So the point of him being there also, as I said, he's a roster filler. He should only be there if you're really having a problem. And I'm sorry, I don't think Umran is that bad a bowler either. There is a potential there.
He was given up on too soon, if you ask me.
Again,
And it was a mix. I think it was a mix of, a bad IPL. Then, him conceding those 40 odd runs in Ireland as well. So it was a mix of, things not going well in the IPL. Immediately after that, you see him go on these couple of tours where he was a touch expensive. Cut to next, the season after that where he's played just 6 games. Again, you've given up on him. Cut to next season, 2024, and now you see him just feature in 2 matches and he's not there to be seen after that.
2 matches is an impact stuff, so he's not even a guaranteed start. And chalo, fine, I understand team permutation combinations, you may not want to play him in the 11. But how the hell is he not your first choice this thing, yeah?
And can I mean, just to be fair to Jaydev, I said it at, I think, mid-innings that, or maybe it was the start of the game, where he's had a decent season, to be fair. This particular season, I have seen a much improved version of Jaydev Unadkat, but I think with him, what you'll get is the standard stuff, that you'll be okay with situations where he's not conceding too many runs, because you're not always expecting a lot of wickets. You can get a few wickets, that too if the batter is trying to be extra aggressive and then gets deceived by the pace, so he's, instead of clearing the boundary, gets caught in the boundary. But I'm saying, as an X-factor bowler, if I have someone like that, unless I had, see, if it's a Natarajan, I'll go with you that, he's bringing a lot more, many things to the table. So playing a Natarajan ahead of Umran, I agree. But I think with Jaydev, you just get the standard stuff. More often than not, it'll be standard and on certain days. So, I'm just going back to those last ball. Let's say if he had taken 2, still going back to that, let's say if he had taken 2, right? All you needed was 7 to push it into a super over, if not 6. With the amount of wides that he was bowling, he was a good chance to have bowled a wide. Would have bowled a wide, who knows?
He may have
Knowing
lost
very
the
well.
Pressure, who knows? Who knows? So again, that's something that, worries me. And especially, see again, if he was a youngster, I would still have persisted because I know that with time he'll improve. But in Jaydev's case, that's not the thing, right? He's played enough of cricket to have now developed whatever temperament is needed. And if despite that much experience is still feeling the nerve, then I don't think there is a solution to that. Might as well give it to a youngster who then develops that, even if he's nervous with a few experiences like this, then develops that experience to bowl. At least you'll be aiming at something, you'll get something. In this case, you're not getting that. So
this whole episode in many ways, brings back the little sympathy that I had for Khalil the other day.
You just Khalil.
What is it with Khalil
And
that
Kuldeep.
and that
Khalil Ahmed.
somebody will get it. You heard Khalil, you have heard.
No, Khalil is at least right.
Khalil.
You've heard
Kuldeep,
Kuldeep.
Kuldeep, and also
There's one more.
Khalil
no?
Yadav.
Khalil Yadav
Is
is
a new
Khalil
one.
Yadav. There's one more, no?
You know what's even funnier?
It's actually Shane who is to be blamed for this, because he doesn't do this muck up job as often as the others do, but he's the one cracking this joke all round the year.
Listen, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I haven't made one single joke about the fact that Akshardeep and Carlson were playing against each other. Not one joke.
Akshardeep.
And Carlson.
All you were missing is Temmamba.
Who also we were talking about in the half.
Correct.
But anyway, the point I was making was that
By the way,
Unatkat.
before people take offense, this is not making fun of anybody's names. These, if you are new to our channel, these are slip-ups that have happened. Like someone is trying to say Henrik Klassen has said Carlson, so we've caught on to that. So it became a running joke. Similarly,
Arshdeep became Akshardeep.
Somebody said Akshardeep, maybe confusing Akshar Patel, and because non-stop talking for 1 hour can do this to you, and we do this 4-5 hours a day, so can happen. So it became a running joke. It's not that we are mocking somebody's name, just to let you know.
Yeah, I mean, just today I called Nitish Reddy Nitish Rana. It just happens.
Yeah. But you're a KKR fan.
Course of habit.
It can happen there.
So now Khalil Yadav, as you were talking
about. So my sympathy for Khalil resurfaced today, because if an Ashutosh can scare somebody like an Unatkat, then it's only fair that Khalil got scared seeing Mahendra Singh Dhoni over there.
Yeah.
Even if it's the ghost of Dhoni's past, I'll still get scared by him. Because it's Dhoni. Again, as Dhoni always says, the pressure goes on to the bowler. That's what happens. And you saw a living manifestation of that here.
Yeah. But nothing succeeds like success. We're analyzing, dissecting what Sunrisers could have done better, especially in their bowling, because frankly, the total was okay. We thought par total, not below par, not over. But the bowling start that they had no business taking this game so close. But I guess, as I said, nothing succeeds like success. Don't expect Jaydev to be put on the bench. I think because you won and you're doing well, and from mid-table now you've gone into top 4, I'm guessing.
Yeah, they were 5, could be 4 now.
But what this has done is move the perennial number 6. I'm sure from that spot they would have.
It would have probably moved. Let me check the table.
I think they remain 6th.
Oh, so that
I think they remain 6th.
That
will be interesting to see.
That is fixed for them. Yeah. Yes, they are 6.
And see, Sunrisers still remain 5th because their net run rate is. So this is a rare case. There's been movement in terms of points, but not movement in terms of.
There's been some movement just in terms of points and net run rate.
That's the extent of it.
So imagine they'd be like, what do we?
The joke remains.
We started this game at 5 and 6. What do we are at 5 and 6? Not much change. A word on the Punjab team. Let's be honest, okay, guys. I don't think any of us expected them. Today also they competed, right? And they're still 6th in the table. I think they're punching above their weight. Let's be honest. It's all down to the 2 youngsters that have really stepped up for them because they've come out of syllabus. Whenever you analyze the team, you analyze pretty much the Shikhar Dhawans, the Johnny Bairstows, Prabh Simran, or Sam Curran, and all of these players you are looking at. Jitesh Sharma, for that matter. Looking at their bowling in Barar, Harshal, Kagiso, Arshdeep. You're analyzing. Nobody really put Ashutosh Sharma or even a Shashank Singh as the match winners.
They weren't in the 11.
Yeah.
Even when we were making the 11, these 2 guys weren't even there.
So they've come out of syllabus, in which case, they are punching above their weight. I think they're doing rather well. But just as we spoke about, the Sunrisers Hyderabad bowlers allowing them to come back, I think much needs to be done about Punjab's top order. Somebody really needs to sit down, a Shikhar Dhawan, a Johnny Bairstow, even Prabh Simran. He's getting consistent chances, comes on as a super sub. You're getting enough chances, you have to do. Sam Curran has gotten runs, some games has not, but I think he's batting too high up the order. I guess they're looking for a left-hander and that's why pushing him. But if I am a Shashank or a Jitesh or a Ashutosh, I'd want to bat much higher than a Sam and say, let Sam be the guy who finishes.
Exactly, because I don't know who Sam Curran is hoodwinked into believing that he's a number 4 batter. Exactly. He had one good performance over there and suddenly he's the messiah.
Once in a while,
that also, there was a catch of his dropped.
But still, he had the.
But I think, where they started the season, I think this was because, again, he wasn't delivering as a finisher as well last year, which is why they were like, let's give him more balls to face.
He wasn't delivering as a bowler also.
Exactly. But now I think they've got a problem to address because what's happening as a result is, yes, you got away the other day with a marvelous victory, but today, maybe you'll be thinking another couple of balls here and there for either of those 2. You can push either a Shashank up or an Ashutosh and you'll be thinking, these were 2 points with us that we let go of.
See, and that I think one of their problems really comes up to their top order because it's actually the most Punjab King things ever. that you had at one point KL Rahul, Mayank Agarwal, and Chris Gayle, and you realize, you know what, we have one too many openers. So when we get the chance to revamp the team, let's again bring in one too many openers. How do you have different players, same problem? Shikhar Dhawan, Johnny Bairstow, Simran Singh, only two of them can be starting. And I'm really sorry, but if anyone has to be starting from those two, I think Shikhar needs to be dropped to the bench.
He's the captain.
Yeah, but that's the problem. You can't drop him. See, with Bairstow, I know he tends to have his lulls.
Captain you're not dropping.
No, my point is.
See, again, he's also one of your KL Rahul's equivalent, I would say, because see, he'll give you runs. In that regard, I'm saying he's your KL Rahul because
giving you that
always Shikhar Dhawan, you go back last 4, 5, 6 years, always there in the top 4. Shikhar Dhawan, KL Rahul are permanent residents in those top 4 bracket.
Like Punjab Kings in 6th place. But the problem is that this approach, as we keep saying, doesn't work in today's day and age. I don't think you can do that. If you want explosive, again, which are the two teams who have had the best power plays? SRH and KKR. Two teams that always look to go hard. If it doesn't work, no problem. I'm okay with the Simran Singh getting a 4 out of 6 sometimes. If he's playing in his rightful position and is then not having to build off on the fact that you've got a Shikhar on the other end, you've got lost Johnny Bairstow for a bronze duck. And so at that point, you don't know what role to play, because if you're playing Simran and Shikhar, Simran would be the natural aggressor, but then there's every chance that what happens here, it happens, and then Shikhar Dhawan is stuck on the other side. He can't accelerate. It is a muddle. It's the same muddle which they found themselves in with Mayank, Gayle and Rahul. Same problem. And the only difference being with those three, I still understood why they asked them to play conservatively, because they didn't have a very good lower or middle order. Yeah, that's not really the case. The middle and low middle orders was bailing you out more often than not. Sam Curran is no 4, but he batted well in one game and won you that game. Ashutosh and Shashank have now won you one game and gotten you way closer than you had any right being, after being 50 odd for 4, 58 for 4.
I think the biggest talking point in that batting lineup is going to be Jitesh Sharma, because this is a question that came to us even in our mid innings about whether the next few games are going to be crucial for him or not. I don't know how you're going to be looking at this particular inning, but for me, I'll take that. He's batting at 7 today. He's batting at number 7.
His position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Batting at number 7 today. 19 of 11 at 172 strike rate. I'm taking it. I'm not expecting all the time for a big thing. Yes, it would have been better if he gets a 33 or a 35 or a 36. That is exactly the best that he could have got in that scenario. It would have been great. Or maybe a 40. Or maybe someone like a Shashank he could have. But at that situation, could he have done something different to that particular ball? Sure.
Yes.
Lolly, yes.
Absolutely.
Lolly, yes. But I think you're not going to remember the mode of dismissal. You're going to remember how many runs, right?
I feel after a point you've got to be questioning the mode of dismissal as well, or the nature of the dismissal.
I'm saying when the team is going to be selected, nobody remembers.
Not that. I'm saying because see, if this he needs a decent performance now, and this is not decent. Today in 11 he got 19. I'm saying had he played about 14 or 15 and got to about 25, 27, that makes for a much better reading and gives him the chance, let's say, to get to, again, he's operated at a strike rate of 172. This is somebody who can take his strike rate a notch or two higher as well. He sticks around for another couple of deliveries, gets his strike rate high and finishes with roughly about, 27, 28 on about 14, 15 balls. That is what is expected out of him.
Sure, but as I said, at number 17, you'll hit and you'll miss. Now, the thing is, you're going to be comparing him, I think, to the two other candidates in Rishabh Pant as well as Sanju Samson. Now, where they bat, now you're going to look at their larger numbers, right? 50s and whatever.
Strike rates.
Yeah.
But different positions.
Correct. So
it's not a fair comparison.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to say. But the thing is, you'll have to keep in mind, as to when you will have your 11, there is no chance you're getting anyone to bat at
4.
Also, the other thing.
Your
Why
wicketkeeper will have to
be
bat at 6 or 7.
But why he is to be held a little more accountable over here? Because this is, one of these guys, this is an 11 which comprises of an impact sub. With the Indian team, he's playing number 7 and he's your last designated batter also. There's only Kuldeep follows, and after which a couple of pacers will follow. So that's where he assumes more responsibility as a number 7 as well. It's the finisher's role, after all, that he will have to perform.
No, but I'm saying at the moment you cannot compare him to the, because you're going to look at the absolute runs, right?
Yeah.
Of the two other competitors.
Yeah.
But they're batting a much higher position, right?
It's apples with oranges, not a fair comparison. But to say that, today it wasn't on him to finish it off.
No, I'm not saying.
And that was not a ball you get out to.
But I'm saying what happens is, if in a scenario like this, and put anyone in that position, whether it was going to be a Sanju or a Rishabh, I think we'll have to give them this leeway of failures also. Because the role is such, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
It is something that you will have to give a Rinku Singh to do it, or a Andre Russell, people who play this role. And more often than not, they'll fail, but on occasions that they do well, they'll strike it, they'll win you games. And I think that's the role. It's up to you. You decide whoever you want to go with. But I think that it's going to be a bit of a decision in terms of the batting position. What we can do is try and look at the data that we have of the three batters. And why I thought that we must see this to put into perspective. Can we show this full screen, Saransh? So why I want everyone to see these numbers? You know why? Because public memory is short. What happens is we just see 4 or 5 games of the IPL and then decide who should play and who should not play. Now the thing is, you need to remember that before the IPL started, the last few T20I series you played, Jitesh was your designated wicketkeeper batter who was batting at number 7. Because that's the only spot that you had left for a wicketkeeper batter. You needed someone to finish that, right? That's the role he was playing. What we've done here is taken out last 2 IPL season stats. These are IPL season stats for last 2 seasons, not this season. This season numbers you already know. But on the basis of how Jitesh came and how, some others did not, we're looking at that. Okay, now when I say last 2 seasons, it's exactly the same for Sanju Samson and Jitesh. That's 22 and 23. For Pant, it's 21-22 because he did not play 23. But we are only going to see your last 2 seasons. No point seeing your entire IPL career because you only have to see the form that was there before you were picked.
Yeah.
So that's what we've tried to do, to look at IPL, not looking at international T20Is, because Jitesh hasn't played those many, neither has Sanju Samson. Pant has played far more, okay? And the stats aren't very flattering. So we thought let IPL be the judge of that, because this is a format that you're playing consistently and because we're in the middle of an IPL season. Now, see, you look at the absolute numbers, and I think the clear winner there is Sanju Samson. He's got the most amount of runs. His average is looking outstanding, and we're not always going to look at average without looking at the strike rate. So if you put the strike rate in place there at 150 or a 45 average and a lot of runs at that, which means it's not just because he's been not out on many occasions, he's actually piled on the run, looks the best, okay? Followed next, you could say it's a close call between Jitesh and Pant, simply because where Pant seems to have a slightly better average, 33:26. Jitesh has a much better strike rate at 138 to 159. So I think it's a very close call. You can take either one, because in T20 cricket, strike rate is as important, and there's a big difference between 138 strike rate vis-a-vis a 159 strike rate. So you can pick your choice. I'm not, trying to feed it into you, but it does seem like, based on 2 seasons of the IPL, the last 2 seasons that these players have played, Sanju cut above the rest and Jitesh and Pant a close call.
The only difference, rather, in this case, because again with Sanju you have to remember middle order,
That's
3-4.
I was going to get to. In fact, that's why if you were to compare all of them, both Pant and Sanju have the luxury of batting higher up the order.
Yeah.
Jitesh has got those numbers where he's competing, or at least is in the conversation, basis which he got picked, are down at number 7, doing the dirty job. And yet, to have got those kind of numbers is why he was picked in the Indian team. Why now, when you go to a T20 World Cup, you need a number 7 batter, you need a specialized that. Okay, fine. If you think, and I think Sanju is a fantastic batter and his numbers are suggesting, if you're going by absolute numbers, then it should be a no-brainer. You should start with Sanju. But then in that case, either Sanju should have been batting in a few games at number 7, so we can see that. I'm sure the selectors can have a talk, but then you could also argue that why should the franchise listen, and they will do it. But then you have to take that risk, maybe have a conversation with Sanju, say that, listen, we trust in you, you can do it even batting lower down the order. We trust you. You have the power and everything to do. So go with Sanju. Then in that case, go with him. But I think to just not have him play in that position at all, whether it was in the previous international matches or now in IPL, and to suddenly expect him to do it, I think will be a big risk. Which is why Jitesh is the incumbent.
You're also then setting up a Sanju for failure, and I think that has happened a lot because this is a guy who started his career opening. Lest we forget, started his career as an opener, then became a 3-4 dependent on situation, left hand, right hand. In ODIs, you told him prepare to bat at 5-6. He did it. Where exactly did that lead him? Absolutely nowhere. Now you're telling him, okay, that preparation you did to be a finisher will come in good use in the T20 World Cup. At this point, he's not even guaranteed a spot in the plane. Never mind being a starter. I wouldn't start him purely on those numbers simply because he's not a lower order bat. And it's unfortunate. If you're going by the role specifications, and it's a tough role because you want someone who has experience batting lower down, then it has to be Jitesh and Pant, because Pant has batted at number 6 for India before, albeit numbers are very underwhelming.
No, but at number 6, not in T20, I can remember in ODIs.
Exactly.
But in T20, it's a different thing. He doesn't bat there.
Also, when I just look at, if I was to just put numbers in descending order and if all selections were to happen just based on the scorecard.
No, it's not going to.
It should, exactly.
Yeah. This is just an
and
indicator
this
for
is
us.
This is for those out there who even believe, let's say, that a Sanju's ahead. What needs to be understood for the position that we're talking at the moment is that it's not how many runs. At times it will be in question, as I today feel Jitesh should have scored a little more and his job should have been to then cap off the game for his team. But then it's the manner and the rate at which you score those runs, and strike rate, there's only one winner on the graphic that we have for our viewers. So simple as that. That is what the Indian team.
Who are you picking then today if you're picking the team?
I'm still going with Jitesh.
Hands down.
Okay, so if I was selector, I am because it's a specialized role and he's batting at 7, and based on these numbers, and it's not our selection, nor Shane, nor Harshit, nor me, Nikhil, none of us got Jitesh into the setup. I think it was the selectors that did see, and I think it's basis on these numbers that they saw that this guy batting at 7 is giving you
that impetus.
That average, those many runs over 2 seasons with less number of balls that he faces, with almost 160 strike rate. So he's the guy to do it, and they went with him. And I think nothing much has changed. However, I think what will happen once the selection committee does sit down, first week of May is what we're hearing it will happen, that his form will also be crucial, in which case he needs to play 1 or 2 knocks just to refresh the memory of the selector. Because if he does that, then I see no reason that he should be just removed from the Indian team. A slot that he had made his own when a Sanju Samson was available, when even an Ishan Kishan was available, when even a KL Rahul was available. Yeah. They were all there in the scheme of things. Only Pant was the one who was injured. Everyone else was available, and yet the Indian team was picking Jitesh to be playing that. Right?
See, why is Rinku Singh dominating the conversation right now? It's because he's given one too many performances now in which he single-handedly determined the result for his franchise. He's taken his team over the line. Today, had Jitesh done that, perhaps the debate was in many ways put to bed. Because you see, he is the first choice, we know that. You look at the Afghanistan series well, there was a match, I think he got 31 of 21. There was a 0 as well to his name. Can't remember what happened in the third match. There are a string of single-digit scores if you were to look at his short-lived career as far as T20 internationals is concerned. That's because he's still very young. But he needs, and everyone, we used to say that for Sanju as well. What did we say at the start of the season? Sanju needs to have a season, or let's say we've said that about Sanju in the past, that he needs to bang the door down. How do you bang the door down? Truckloads of runs. Sanju hasn't done that. Here, for what he is doing, Jitesh, he doesn't need truckloads of runs, but what he does need is 1 or 2 match-winning performances like Rinku has done, and which is why there is the whole world fighting out there for Rinku. Today, had Jitesh done it, then again the memories would have been refreshed and people would have realized, yes, scoring with these many balls left and scoring with 10 balls left are 2 different things.
But I'd like to say one thing, we should not be that fickle in deciding. Like every 4-5 games, 6 games, and we change our mindset. I don't think teams are made like that. Generally saying.
But we here have been consistent in saying
one
thing.
Forget, I'm saying in general, perception, narrative. the fan opinion,
But right
general
now-
thing,
right now it-
changes with
between a
just
couple of-
few
I'm saying-
games here and there. Even if it's 5-6 game, I think you should take a call on a player basis a good 5-6 months of extended run in whichever format. Also, a mixing of format should not
But in
happen
that
because
case, somebody
T20
like
cricket
a-
was not happening for so long. Mixing of format because T20 cricket happened before test matches. So just we forget. So just I mean I know we consume a lot of cricket, but and it's not an easy task. Sometimes we also get swayed by what's happening, but sometimes you need to really sit back, separate formats, look at each player based on that format and their performances. That will. But I guess the people who will to make the decision do see it like that.
Ashutosh and Shashank for T20 World Cup.
Yeah, that is
That's the narrative we
which
are
is
trying
scary.
to. Yeah.
By that logic, then we should just come up with the best 11 Indian performing players of the IPL and then send them.
People have been telling me that. I've had people tell me that, listen, you should drop Yashasvi Jaiswal and bring in Abhishek Sharma. And I'm like, huh?
Fine, man. See, I know the pendulum will keep swinging between two players, and let's say one is Sanju, the other could be Pant as things stand, but Jitesh will have to be looked at differently.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who knows what happens? Again, there are a lot of things. It's one who was the incumbent, one who specializes in what position, three
One.
what form.
Fourth, who's on an exile.
From
the Indian team setup.
out of the conversation.
He's out.
Oh, okay.
Ishant, yeah.
But what if, let's say, he used to get.
many things are runs not happening, bats at a different.
I think what? Because there's still about 8-9 games left for all franchises.
I'm not sure. A word on SRH. I have a question before we take viewer questions. Are they making it top four team for anyone? You think they can make it?
No. I still think they'll be there and thereabouts where they are now, 5th, 6th. This team doesn't quite have it because again I think they're reliant on few players. Those few players don't do the job. They're a little bit. Today Nitish came out and gave them out of syllabus performance. But otherwise, why are we excited to watch SRH games? Makram, Klassen, Head, none of them performed. All disappeared. Abhishek also didn't perform. Abdul Samad, actually no, that's only his family.
Tempted to think they could. I didn't have them in my top 4 because they just look like an RCB who are playing in orange for me. A very good batting lineup.
And RCB make
and RCB do. So I'm going just by that logic. They've got a power-packed batting lineup, but it's bowling that's weak. So, but somehow because the batting is so heavy, let's say, it sort of makes up for that weak bowling. So if the runs are to continue the way that they've been coming, who knows if they can sneak in.
But with RCB also, we're talking about them making playoffs. 21-22 back-to-back years they made the playoffs. Didn't play a single group stage game in the Chinnaswamy. Tells you everything you need to know. Home comforts.
I also am tilting to. I think they'll be mid. They may come close, mid-table, but not making it top 4. Because I also feel, I know not a lot of people are counting them, but I think that Mumbai will make a late season run. They will. They're always a dangerous team. I've seen it enough times with this team. So that's another team. You already have a few teams that are looking very good. In a KKR, which is looking good. Chennai are looking good. Lucknow to that extent. RR are looking very good. So already 14. And I always, as I said, never going to discount Mumbai till at least half the season is done. Right. So with them also in that, with keeping all these teams.
They do remind me of Real Madrid playing in the Champions League. Every time, La Liga, if they're 3 down, okay, they're not making a comeback. Champions League, they're 3 down, semi-final on the line.
Better comparison is Man City of recent seasons. They'll always peak in the second half of the season. Last year, season's the best example. We had an Arsenal fan in the office who was saying they're doing it, bro, they're winning it, bro. Like, wait for the second half of the season. But
what better day, let's say, to be recalling the City Real match as well of 2 years back, where again you thought Real were down and out. Hello.
Oh, that year, that season was crazy for Real. I remember Chelsea also had them on the ropes and they ended up beating Chelsea with late goals. And I'm like, what just happened?
Okay, let's take some questions.
Swal.
Oh, you wanted us to read Jade's profile, the prodigious left arm talent.
No, I don't know how it would
I thought you wanted us to. Let's go, lots of questions. Let's start. Mehraj rules from Canada.
When 29 were needed of 6 balls, I was still 50% on PBKS, all due to Unatkat.
Mehraj,
wonder.
Same wavelength.
I still wonder how he is consistent with this. Next year, he'll be in RCB again.
That is below the belt, I say, Mehraj. Below the belt, man.
Ritvika Reddy, who's I think one rare SRH fan who's managed to find us, thankfully, says, worst fielding, I hate you, but I love you, SRH.
Ritvika is an SRH.
He must have had a heart on the mouth.
Yeah, not easy as a fan.
I
But
mean-
you know, today is a good day, right? Celebrate.
Especially
Listen,
the last
my
over.
team has Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti fielding 20 overs.
Varun
I know how
Chakravarti
she
is
feels.
improved. He's taking diving catches now. Diving forward.
His problem, you know what? He's
And-
not a bad fielder. His confidence takes a big hit. He drops one catch and he's all at sea. He's fine. He's a 7 on 10. The problem is he'll drop one catch and he becomes a 4 on 10. That's his problem. With Sunil, even in his prime days, no, he would never put any effort in fielding. His fielding is like when he's about to get run out, he'll go like this.
He'll cross ball.
What's that?
He doesn't.
Even yesterday's game didn't take that second.
He'll never take the second. What second?
I'll deal with boundaries.
He's Harshit. Doesn't care.
He tongues a harder ball though.
Rakesh Bhushan. Huh.
Says Jaidev Unadkat was shivering bowling to MSD in the last match, who's in the late autumns of his career, and now to Ashutosh and Shashank, who are relative newbies, at least to the IPL. Huge question mark on Jaidev. Yeah. Also, Rakesh, there's a reason why he was shivering bowling to MSD. MSD has on multiple occasions taken him to the cleaners. MS loves left arm pacers. He tends to take very well to them. And Jaidev has felt the wrath of it. I remember 22 also. There was
Yeah.
one game where Chennai were in the midst of a very bad streak. And I don't remember who he was playing for. Says everything about Jaidev. Really, I don't remember the team. But came on, final over, and Dhoni just cleaned him up.
Yeah.
And this is a Dhoni who was again batting same way. Oh,
Yeah,
6-7 balls.
Jaydev Unadkat fits into that bracket of, let's say, Dinesh Karthik, Aaron Finch. They've played for so many franchises over the years, you fail to recall which year, which one played where.
Dinesh Karthik has at least won an IPL title.
Yeah, 2013.
With MI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sharath Reddy says that extra run would still be an SRH win by 1. Yeah, good point. PBKS would be 181, not 82 for it to go to super over.
But as I pointed out, with Jaidev Unadkat, good chance a wide was incoming. And who knows?
And says thoughts on that Klaasen stumping on a 140 kmph ball. Is there
Yeah.
anything that man can't do? Except bowl off spin. I mean,
Yeah, pretty bad at that.
But
But
close to
other
the
than that-
stumps, super.
he's got some other next level eyes and reflexes, man. Seriously.
Okay.
Love Curran Tour says still think that first over maiden cost us. I mean, in hindsight, sure.
Love Curran is from
Punjab
the US,
Kings.
he's a Punjab fan. But the first over, they got a run, leg by it was. Bhuvaneshwar, the one that Bhuvaneshwar bowled.
Yeah.
It was 1 run. You got 1 run, my friend, if I'm not mistaken.
Maybe he meant they would need more runs than one.
Yeah, but it was a maiden because there's no run that came out the back.
Correct.
That was the one
correct.
leg by. But you're right. I mean, you started off like that. In the end, look at the victory margin.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a close call. Sure.
Rakesh Bhushan says that in pure form, Shivam Dubey, Rinku Singh are firing on all cylinders and they are not automatic choices in the T20 World Cup. I'm worried for Gill, he says, Jaiswal, Kohli, Hardik, who are short and are not setting the stage on fire vis-a-vis their strike rate.
Oh, but I think Gill's having a decent
Yeah.
IPL.
In fact,
Last game was not great, but there have been games where his strike rate has been good. And Kohli is struggling, you're saying?
146 strike rate.
But he says strike rate over there.
But I mean, he's 140 strike rate, right?
146. Still, that's higher than his career.
Six higher than his career, I think.
But
More than that.
I'm saying in a
More than
team,
138.
you need everyone in the team to be 180 strike rate batter. No. A team is made up of a lot of players.
And their problem is there are other batters who are meant to be 160 strike rate aren't playing.
And in Mumbai Indians also, but you're saying every team, no? SRH you're saying is a
Explosive.
explosive team there. Makram sometimes is playing that role. Mumbai Indians, you're saying that Hardik, I think, is ended up playing that role. Every team will have to have a guy. That's how it's going so far. So 140 strike rate for an anchor, I'll take it.
Rakesh Bhushan again then adds saying that few Indian stalwarts are letting their franchises down. Dhawan not scoring.
We spoke about
VK
it.
with the strike rate. MSD last phase. Pant still not that fluent. Shreyas not setting stage on fire. Hardik run a ball innings. KL occasional burst only.
But overall, I agree with the sentiment that ahead of the T20 World Cup, you're not looking like the most.
But we always
Not in terms of personnel. That's another debate. But I'm saying in terms of form. Like your personnel will be your personnel, but if they're all going in like some fantastic form, you're feeling much
But
nicer.
it's a fairy tale, right? Okay, all possible 14, 15 prospects.
Not 14. Some of your big guns really need to be looking good.
They do.
It
They
happens.
do.
Yeah.
No two ways.
Jasprit Bumrah is
He is though.
Bumrah is
Fine
eternal.
wine. Always.
all season man.
Yeah.
Divyang says that the top order of Punjab Kings is a worry, a point we made. Need to bring Russo, yes, Riley Russo in for Johnny Bairstow. But what finds Ashutosh and Shashank are SRH looking good, and finally Unadkat back to his best.
Yeah, being sarcastic.
Oh, that way.
Like he was
Ah,
having a
got
good
it, got it,
season
got it.
and then now he's...
Normalcy restored.
No, normal service resumed. Gully Talk says SRH can have Cummins come up in neither rather than use Tripathi. Who can forget his 34 balls 66 during IPL 2021? I think that was the same match where he battered Jasprit Bumrah of all people for 4 sixes in 1 over. So he can do that.
Yeah.
Agreed. You could actually have sent Cummins up. Ritvika says apparently hitting 2 sixes every match is all you need to play for India. Jitesh is by no means the first choice. He's been terrible. That's a fact. It's not a fact. It's a subjective opinion.
We just
Explain.
put that opinion out. I mean, that's why I'm saying, see, that's exactly what I'm saying. People will have their biases and it'll just come out without really spending time as to what the other options are. Also, see again, then that's the same issue. Why do you look at Virat Kohli differently in T20? Why is there criticism? Then in his case also look at the bigger picture and say that he's GOAT and take him. You don't, right? But in wicket keeping slot, you're saying only Jitesh is that 2-6 hitter in T20 and he should not, because you're looking at a bigger picture where of course a Pant and a Samsung have a much bigger stature. Of course they do. But then have one rule. So you go with more experience, bigger stature, match winner in other format. That's important. Rather than a 2-3-6 hitter in T20, he should be removed. Who is a Jitesh compared to the highs that Pant has reached? Fine. If that's your benchmark, go with Pant. Then have the same benchmark in other selections also. Then don't come and question that why should Virat Kohli not be there.
Correct.
Then don't say that, oh, we will take a Dubey or whoever else you want to play.
Why
There's
should
no
Rinku be
comparison.
starting?
There's no comparison. Where is Virat Kohli? Where is a
Say
Dubey?
Rinku
You will
Singh,
say,
Shivam
or whatever.
Dubey.
Yeah. So be there. Don't let personal biases come. So you like a certain player, he should be there. You dislike somebody, so diss him. Should not be. Have a set standard, and if you believe that you have to look at players basis on format, then you pick players basis on format, not the reputation that they bring, because they've been outstanding in all other formats and have been match winners in a lot of other formats.
Yeah. Mayank Madan says that so there will be no change in our batting in the World T20 from last time except the addition of Jaiswal, and he wishes that we get to 1 million subscribers before the T20 World Cup begins. He also was asking for our thoughts on the Madrid versus City match.
On the subs doesn't matter. I have often said this, that we were happy when we were 1 lakh. We are happy with 1 lakh people. We are happy. We were very happy with 2. We are very happy with 3. We'll be very happy when we reach 4. We'll be very happy if we reach 5 or if we don't. Let's say we don't ever. We'll be happy with 3, 4, whatever we have, right? How does it? It's not, I mean, yeah, growing is great and becoming big is great, we're happy. But if we were not to reach that, should we not be happy with what we've got? So, we're already happy with your company every night, yeah. Even if 10,000, 5,000, 7,000 of you watch our show, great. It's much more. It's better than just 3 of us sitting and, talking, which we would have done anyway. We're just so happy that we have another 6,000-7,000 that end up seeing the show and we share it with those and we consider it a much larger discussion. That's it. We become 1 million, great. Right now we are almost 3.5 lakh family. We love each one of them.
And Saranj can already smell the next red velvet.
No, it can't keep coming that
Call
fast.
it what it is, red and velvet.
I'll order this a different cake this time.
But now we'll only order when 5 lakh now.
No.
4 lakhs?
Celebrate every lakh.
You
Celebrate every lakh till million, then it will be 5 per 5 lakhs. Till million, celebrate every lakh.
He's doing bargaining with him. Miraj Rule says, guys, don't forget my top 4 in the beginning of the season. SRH, LSG, MI, Rajasthan. It's a good shout. It could actually be that.
We'll
but
check
SRH,
though if you said that, huh?
Yeah, we'll have to check. People can just say anything.
We'll check.
He didn't have CSK.
Didn't have CSK.
Wow.
Yeah.
To be fair, I think Miraj is an MI fan. So Obvious biases come in there.
But he has 3 of the 4 teams that I picked. Same. Just instead of SRH, I had CSK.
Yeah.
SRH personal bias from last year.
I picked them.
Personal lack of bias. Like, not you again.
Last year, nobody was backing them. I was.
Yeah.
Okay, A. Ryan from the UK says, guys, I love your shows. Due to work, I cannot watch your shows live most of the time, but I always listen to the podcast on the way to work. The best. Thank you so much, Ryan. That's why it doesn't matter if you're live or not. Whenever you watch us and your comments, whenever you can send us a comment, we'll take it. Okay, let's take a few more before we wind up. Okay, Ashish Dhar says, Nikhil, to be fair, Rohit has modeled his T20 game far better than Virat. Rohit's strike rate does not take a hit, whether batting first. True, Ashish. Not denying that at all.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. But like everyone can't be same. Na? Rohit will play a different role, I'm sure. And you will need someone to play the Virat role as well. Go back to the ODI World Cup, different format. Rohit played a very different role, Virat played a very different role, and both were needed to play that role. I'm not saying one was more valuable than the other, both were outstanding in the role that they perform, but you needed multiple roles, and each of them performed that.
Correct.
Prakash Jha says, Shane always speaks about Cummins like a jilted egg. Yeah, okay, accept it. So
again, I think Prakash also in the previous show was saying he's talking about the Cummins of KKR era as if the KKR era was in the days of yore. It was 2 years back. Of course, I'll say that he was expensive.
Say I'm a jilted lover.
I say I had no problems. He went to another franchise. That was on us. It's not like it's a signing type thing. And he's done well. I'm just saying, wait. We've seen these signs enough. Jilted X or whatever you want to say. Again, he's played most of his T20 IPL career for the KKR side. I've seen it all. And he's definitely done well, not taking anything away.
Okay, Vijay from the US.
It's a bit like that new mystery spinner that SRH
What's his
got.
name? Tell me.
I've forgotten his name.
You've done
Vijay.
See, it's a tongue
Vijay
twister.
Kumar Vishak.
Of SRH.
Of SRH. 2.0.
Done 2 videos on it.
Yeah.
And third time.
His name is a real tongue twister. Vijaykant Vyaskant. There we go. Prithvi Patnaik vibes.
Where is he, by the way?
Yeah, he didn't come much to our show anymore. I think Siddharth offended him once.
Okay.
No, he was complaining about Siddharth to other platforms, paying money to complain about
Yeah. That also happened.
I'm getting concerned. People saying, why is he doing this? I'm like, oh god. Anyway, Vijay.
Okay.
Vijaykant Visakant says, why waste time talking about the wicketkeeper? Eventually he's going to be Curse of Shadow.
Wait, you can't read it. I'll read it. Harshit, can you read it?
No.
He's laughing.
Will be careful.
I'll read it. See, you gotta understand, our viewers can't read it. No? So I'll have to read it. Please do. You can and you're laughing. Okay. Vijay from the US. His question is, why are you wasting time talking about a wicketkeeper? Eventually, it's going to be the curse of Shadow God KL Rahul playing tuk-tuk in West Indies. Forget June.
Good vacation.
Good vacation.
He's saying, forget about it, ain't happening. This is treated as a vacation.
No. It's not, by the way, Vijay, I don't see a spot for KL. Unless, I don't know, he comes in as the backup wicketkeeper option, but I don't think...
He'd have to have a phenomenal...
No, you can't.
Unless you're taking 3 backup wicketkeepers.
How can you ignore the 3 that we just discussed?
Exactly.
And have him ahead of them?
Doesn't saying he'll have to be the 3rd wicketkeeper backup option. So unless this is an Indian team squad, which
Unless there are injuries.
How many?
One. You just need one.
Second opener, second backup opener.
Shubman Gill, Rohit Sharma, Yashasvi Jaiswal.
Second backup opener after Gill.
What about Abhishek Sharma?
No, Abhishek.
Please, no more Shadow
There's
God.
already a Yashasvi Jaiswal, there is a Rohit Sharma, there is a Shubman Gill, and there will not be another backup. Now enough.
Shadow God, I tell you.
Okay.
Good for a laugh though, thanks Vijay.
Yeah.
Still has tears coming out of his eyes.
It was really good. Let's see. Rookie Techie says those who selected and bid for Head and Cummins for SRH master planners. Head is a match winner in World Cup knockouts and WTC final under Cummins. Cummins plus head equals cup.
And they will
Don't tell
comment
me,
as well.
will this be a IPL?
Like the ODI World Cup?
No. Where Pat Cummins takes the IPL trophy also.
Yeah, we talked about it just today.
Oh,
Just this
Imagine-
afternoon.
It might happen.
imagine he takes the
Everything.
WTC trophy from you. He
ODI
takes the
World
ODI World Cup trophy. Now he says, I'll come to your tournament, take the
Take
IPL
that
trophy.
trophy also.
Oh God.
Modern age CEO of East India Company.
East Australia now, but
East
still.
Australia.
Yeah.
There was a related comment. If Pat Cummins wins the IPL, then his name would be not Pat Cummins, it will be Pat Cummins. He has won everything.
Good one.
Last comment for the night. Shubham Garg.
2 years back here, Rahul wanted Tripathi / Huda to replace Kohli at number 3, and where are they now? Indian youngsters failed to perform consistently in the IPL.
Yeah, which is true.
Point well taken.
Yeah, Tripathi, I think, kind of lost his mojo. I think Huda has only got one game so far.
He's lost his spot. Never mind.
Yeah,
Mojo.
he got one game, never got a chance to play after that. But the way some of those LSG batters are performing, I think you can give him a
Good luck.
Yeah, you can give him a go.
No, but where do you back
But
him?
where exactly?
No, but-
You're anyway finding it hard to fit in somebody like
Arre, but at
Badoni.
least- Exactly what my point is. Who's batting number 3 for LSG?
Number 3.
They've tried Badoni there.
Devdutt.
What is Devdutt Padikkal done?
Precious little.
Yeah.
Then I'll put him there. Maybe do better than Devdutt Padikkal.
Who's not a number 3?
Yeah, okay. Prakash Jha says, Nikhil sir, I'm a CSK fan since first season, but also backing SRH since last 2 seasons. Last year I thought they underperformed, hoping for CSK SRH final.
Of course, you'd hope for a
Interesting one.
CSK SRH final. The last time that happened, CSK won. 2018. Come back here.
That's Zami.
Okay, on that note, thank you so much for your comments. Can't take all of them. It's been a long night, but thank you for your company as always. Another close game in the IPL. That winds up our Tuesday evening. Navratras have started.
Yes.
All the very best.
I'll show you what I cooked off here.
Take care. See you tomorrow. It's another day. Bye bye.
Another game.
Good night.
Shubh Ratri.
Shabba
Bakhair.
khair. Vanagam nandri. Eat your vegetables.
Don't trouble your mom.
Bye bye.